And the Torah tells us in this week's portion how when Moses saw an Egyptian mercilessly, viciously beating a Jew, Moses went out and Moses attacked this Egyptian. Moses killed the Egyptian. Then the Torah tells us that Moses buried him in the sand. Rabbi Zadel Epstein asks a question. Why is it important that the Torah tells us that he was buried in the sand? Okay, why is it important to tell us what Moses did with the body? He killed him. He killed the Egyptian. That's the message, that Moses saw a Jew being attacked, and Moses responded, and he responded to the pain of his fellow Jew. He buried him in the sand. Why is the Torah telling it to us? So, Rabbi Zadel Epstein points out that there is another medrash coming up later in the story of our exodus from Egypt that connects to the 10 plagues. And when the plague of lice was to take place, the commandment was for Aaron to hit the earth, and then the lice would come up from the earth. Why didn't Moses hit the earth? Why was Aaron commanded to hit the earth? And the Medrash explains that because Moses needed to and did feel a sense of gratitude to the earth, because the earth protected him. After he killed the Egyptian, the earth had protected him, and he was able to hide the body. So Rabbi Epstein points out that there's a very important lesson about gratitude here. Of course, the earth doesn't feel anything. The earth doesn't sense anything. But it's a message to us about people who do good things for us, and people who do favors for us, and people who help us out. And our responsibility, and the Torah's charge for us to feel gratitude, to express gratitude, and to act in a way that we really appreciate that which they have done. When does the obligation of gratitude begin? So, normally, we receive a favor from a person, and then if we're really good people, and we'll think about it, we'll remember it a while later, but sometimes after time, that which favors that people do for us are forgotten. The obligation to feel gratitude begins now, begins immediately upon when the person receives that favor. That's what the Torah is telling us. There's an incident later that Moses needed to express and feel gratitude for the sand that protected him. But the Torah tells us right at that time that Moses buried the Egyptian in the sand. Why? Because to teach us that at that time, that Moses, at the beginning, at the time of receiving the protection, receiving gratitude, receiving help, that's the time that a person really needs to feel it. It's not something that should come later. Oh yeah, I realize now what that person did for me. I realize now what that person helped. Gratitude needs to be felt and experienced at the time of experiencing the favor. And if we can ingrain that within ourselves, then we can properly fulfill this mitzvah, this beautiful Torah a directive of feeling and expressing gratitude. Gratitude, the feeling of gratitude begins now, at the time of receiving the favor and the help from our fellow person. Let us remember the beautiful things that we do for one another, and feel gratitude, express gratitude, and create brotherhood and love among our people. Wishing all a beautiful Shabbos.